Ahoy, mateys! I am Kronos, and welcome back to Past Today. Ready for a thrilling journey through the high seas of history? We're talking about none other than Christopher Columbus, the boldest and bravest navigator of his time. This jack of all trades was not just a top-notch cartographer, but also a cunning admiral, a charismatic viceroy, and an efficient governor. Maybe. All serving the crown of Castile. Famous for being the man who discovered America and set the stage for centuries of exploration and colonization. But don't be fooled. His history is full of mysteries and legends that make him even more interesting. So, hoist the sails and join me in discovering some fun facts about Columbus and his journey. This will be a good one. Number 1. Did you know that this man we call Columbus was not actually his real name? Christopher Columbus is an anglicized version of his real name. He was originally baptized as Cristoforo Colombo in the vibrant city of Genoa, Italy. He is referred to as Cristóbal Colón, Spanish, and Christopher Columbus, with a K, in Swedish. Now, some folks might claim that this Genoese name is indeed the true one. But alas, the historical records of Columbus's origins are as elusive as a pirate's buried treasure. So, the true name of this legendary explorer may remain a mystery. Number 2. His voyage almost sank before it even set sail. Columbus was convinced that he could reach Asia by traveling west, but getting the money for his voyage was a whole different story. He tried every possible avenue to get his hands on the necessary funds, even approaching the King of Portugal himself. But most European rulers thought he was nuts and didn't take him seriously. He spent many years at the Spanish court trying to convince King Ferdinand II and Queen Isabella of Castile to finance the voyage. He had almost given up hope and was on the brink of heading to France in 1492, when he received the news that he had finally secured the funds for his journey. Number 3. He was a Scrooge-like penny-pinching tightwad. During his famous 1492 voyage, Columbus promised a glimmering reward of gold to the first sailor who spotted land. One of his crew members, called Rodrigo de Triana, was the lucky sailor to first lay eyes on a picturesque island in the Bahamas on October 12, 1492. But, despite being the first to spot land, poor Rodrigo never saw a single coin of that promised gold. Columbus swiped the reward for himself, telling everyone that he had seen a hazy light the night before, but hadn't said anything because it wasn't well defined. Yeah, sure. Number 4. Half of his trips ended badly. Going back to his famous 1492 journey, Columbus set sail with 3 ships, but disaster struck when the flagship, the Santa Maria, hit rough waters and ran aground, sinking to the bottom of the sea. Columbus was forced to leave behind 39 of his crew members at a settlement called La Navidad. Columbus had set sail with the plan of returning to Spain with a ship full of exotic spices, precious goods, and a newfound trade route. Unfortunately, his journey didn't go quite as planned, and he returned to Spain with empty hands and without one of his best ships. But that wasn't the end of Columbus's misadventures. On his 4th voyage, his ship rotted away, leaving him and his crew stranded on the shores of Jamaica for a whole year. Number 5. A great captain, but a terrible governor. You see, after Columbus's discovery, the kings of Spain appointed him as governor in Santo Domingo. And here's where the story takes a twist. Columbus, who was an amazing explorer, turned out to be a disastrous governor. He and his brothers ruled like they were kings, keeping all the profits for themselves and constantly facing off against the settlers. The situation got so bad that the crown had to intervene and send a new governor, and Columbus, well, was arrested and sent back to Spain in shame. Number 5.5. He never collected the actual corresponding profits from his trips. Having been arrested for his terrible rule as governor and for his brutal treatment of the indigenous Americans, he was denied most of the profits from his trips. But, after 6 weeks in prison, he was released. Number 6. A man of unshakable faith. Columbus was a deeply religious man who believed that God had chosen him for his epic voyages of discovery. Many of the names he gave the islands he discovered were religious in nature. As he aged, he embraced the humble garb of a Franciscan friar, exuding the aura of a spiritual seeker rather than a wealthy explorer. During his third voyage, when he set his eyes upon the confluence of the Orinoco River and the Atlantic Ocean in the north of South America, he was convinced that he had stumbled upon the fabled Garden of Eden. Number 7. He was involved in the trafficking of slaves. As he embarked on his journey across the Atlantic, he was driven by economic motivations and the pursuit of wealth. Columbus was expected to find something valuable on his trips. He was initially disappointed to discover that the lands were not filled with gold, silver, pearls, and other treasures, but quickly came to view the indigenous people of the New World as a valuable resource. During his first voyage, he brought several indigenous people back to Spain, and even more during his second voyage. Yet, despite Columbus's initial intentions, Queen Isabella, who had supported his expeditions, declared that the native people of the Americas were her subjects and could not be enslaved. Number 8. He never believed he actually discovered a new world. As Columbus set sail across the Atlantic, he was convinced that he would find a new passage to Asia and reach the wealthy courts of Japan, China, and the Great Khan. Despite mounting evidence that he had discovered a completely unknown world, the explorer remained steadfast in his conviction that the rich courts of Asia weren't very far away. He even proposed a ridiculous theory to explain it, that the Earth was pear-shaped and Asia was located at the stem, and that's why he couldn't find it. Although this idea may seem absurd to us today, it shows us Columbus's unwavering spirit and insatiable thirst for discovery. Number 9. He didn't die in poverty. Contrary to popular belief, Columbus did not depart this world in destitution. Though some tales paint a picture of the explorer dying alone and penniless, the truth is far more nuanced. While Columbus may not have struck it rich during his lifetime, he lived a life of comfort and dignity in Valladolid, Spain, until his passing at the age of 54 in the year 1506. And that's a wrap. But don't worry, because we'll be back. Thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoyed these interesting and intriguing facts about Columbus. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more of our content. This is Kronos, signing off. Take care, and until next time.